I mean, normally, though, I will say I'm listening to the What's Up Casselberry podcast as I run. So,
Perfect. Another plug. Excellent.
I don't know what you guys are doing.
Your voice gets him going.
My dad jokes. Just dad jokes on repeat.
You can't run from them.
Please listen to Robin's comment in context.
Hi, Casselberrians. It is now time to have a casual conversation for the beneficial good of our community. The show you are about to listen to is called What's Up, Casselberry? And now it is my absolute pleasure to introduce to you your hosts, Andy and Drew.
Oh, and don't forget that lovely producer, Robin.
What's up, podcast listeners? It's Andy, Drew, and producer Robin here. Welcome to episode number 88 of the What's Up Casselberry podcast. Andy and I are Casselberry residents, pastors, friends who desire to have casual conversations on this podcast for the good of the people of Casselberry each and every week. We are honored that you're here with us, and we are also honored, Andy, to have Dr. Chloe Carmichael back for part 2 of our conversation. Wasn't that a phenomenal interview with her last week?
Yeah, it was so rich. And actually, since then, I've really been reflecting a lot on my mental health and my self-awareness and where I am and those kind of things as we move out of this pandemic, right? It's one thing to address our challenges physically, but it's another one to address them emotionally and psychologically. And we would be foolish if we didn't consider what this difficult time has done to our minds. But man, that was a heavy start to the show. I didn't mean to get so heavy so quickly. I was actually going to say in the introduction, every week you call us friends, and I love that, but I just want you to know you don't have to keep saying it for it to be true. It is true. I believe
it. I believe it. I'm just, for the folks out there who are doubting, sometimes, you watch a show or you listen to something and they're like, hey, do these people actually like each other? It's funny you say that because I hear horror stories of actors in movies, right? That they, as soon as they do a scene together, they cut away and they go opposite trailers and never talk.
That happens a lot in sports teams as well.
Mm-hmm. It does. But no, Robin and I, we have our group text and it's dad jokes. It's just funny one-liners. It's a lot of just silly banter back and forth. We do enjoy time together.
Talking to Robin, she's back from her vacation.
Robin,
you're looking so refreshed and renewed.
Thank you.
How are you?
It's good. It flew by like it didn't even happen.
Listener, Andy and I are just giving Robin a hard time. We are producing 2 episodes back to back. So as you hear this will have been before Robin has left for vacation. But
Drew, you're ruining all the secrets.
The magic.
The podcast magic.
Don't worry, we can cut him out.
I'm going to bring it back up full speed based on when this podcast gets released, because hopefully I'm going to will it into existence. By the time our listeners are hearing this, it will be cooler than it is right now. Fall will officially be upon us. Andy and Robin, literally, it's true. Even in my house, pumpkins are everywhere. They're taking over the town. The pumpkin patch is live. There's pumpkin decorations, jack-o'-lanterns. My son has painted a little plastic pumpkin spice lattes. I found at Walmart. Don't ask me why I was at Walmart, but I went to Walmart. There was a pumpkin flavor chapstick, pumpkin spice deodorant.
Are you too good for Walmart?
No, Mr. Snobby. That's Casselberry's biggest employer you just insulted.
No, I go to Rob. I mean, I go to Walmart. It was more the time. I was there late at night, and it was just kind of if you go to Walmart after about 8:00, it's an interesting place. I'll leave it.
Yeah. Did you see any people of Walmart? That thing, those pictures?
Yes, I do. And that's a really funny deal. Is that the one where you can put your name and your birthday rather, and it shows it?
No, that's the one that captures pictures of weird people.
That's Florida Man. That's the Florida Man.
Oh, yeah. So just so you know, if you don't see any weird people of Walmart, you probably are the weird person in Walmart, Drew.
Touche. That's exactly right. I love it. No, I kind of keep my head down when I go to Walmart. They're very friendly people, nice folks, but I just kind of keep my head down, do my thing. But I did look up long enough to see pumpkin spice deodorant. And
that
I thought,
is crazy.
What is going on here?
I want to get some of that. Was it male or female? Or does it matter?
Probably unisex, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe you should get some. Christmas is coming, Drew. I mean, maybe if you stay on that nice list, Santa will take care of you. But yeah, I'm not really into pumpkins. Never have been. Could have been my British upbringing. I was involved in helping run a pumpkin patch for a little season of my life and just found it a very messy thing to do. But I'm not quite sure I understand the infatuation with pumpkins. But
yeah, I think in Florida, it's just such a desire that maybe we can will cool weather to come in. So it's like if we look the part, I tease my wife that like whenever it gets to be around 75 degrees, she pulls out her scarves, thinking like, oh, I can wear a scarf now. And Robin, are you a scarf wearer?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I don't get that infatuation either.
I will bring out the boots.
Okay, there you go. Trying to bring cold weather. Hopefully it will get cooler soon. But, based on this pumpkin conversation, I think as we transition to our dad joke of the week, we got to have some pumpkin themed dad jokes. Y'all ready?
No, we are never ready.
I've got a 3-parter. I've got 3 seeds to spread. We'll see if any of these lands.
You know what's sad about this, listeners, is that Robin and I know that Drew has been working on this for hours, this 3-parter. I mean, it's quite possible you spent more time on this joke for this episode than you did your sermon for last Sunday. Is that
yeah, you could be right. Robin's not even making eye contact. She's just like, let this thing happen. All right, here we go. The other key to this, listeners, I've already given them the answers, but we're going to go with it for you.
I didn't look.
Oh, good. Good deal. All right, here we go. Dad joke of the week. What do you get if you divide the circumference of a pumpkin by its diameter?
There's math involved?
There is math involved.
Is this that took you out of the running, didn't it? We don't know, Drew. What do you get if you divide the circumference of a pumpkin by its diameter?
You get a pumpkin pie.
Robin, come on. You didn't get that as soon as you said circumference, knowing anything about pumpkins. I'm pretty sure that every one of our listeners said pumpkin pie at exactly the same time Drew did as well. I'm
going to read the next one for us. Here we go. What do surfers say on Halloween? Gourd vibes only, bro. I had to force a laugh because that one's not good. Gourd vibes only, bro.
Yeah. Welcome to our experience of listening to your jokes.
All right, here we go. This one's going to get a laugh from Robin. I'm predicting it. Here we go. Listener, why did the pumpkin have to take a detour?
Why?
To avoid a seedy part of town. There you have it. The pumpkin.
Oh, Robin, you're so nice. Robin, you're just so nice. I don't know why else you would laugh at these jokes.
They're funny.
just your niceness.
This is just for us, Andy. We could just block you out of that segment. We should just mute Andy for this part and just have us. We'll do our banter back and forth.
Is that an option that's available to me?
Let's get Doug to be the co-host for this.
Ooh, there we go. Have Doug as our special guest.
Yeah, of course, Doug, shout out to Doug again, still sending me those dad jokes every day. And I love it most of the time.
Hey, listen, our 100th episode is only 14 weeks away from the airing of this podcast. I think you should put your collective dad powers together and make the ultimate 100th episode worthy dad joke to say, tell on.
I like it. I'm in.
No
Let's
pressure.
do it.
It is now time for your local update about things happening in your community. It is now time for Casselberry in the News.
This part we do need you for, Andy, and that is our
Thank you. I feel so wanted.
You need to feel wanted because this is important. You're a key contributor. I joke that you are our boots on the ground reporter. You have an ear just all around the community, and one thing that is evidence of that is how people reach out to you regarding different needs in the community. And so for our Casselberry in the News segment this week, we want to highlight just the community coming together. There was a request from Mallory Lambert, the principal at Casselberry Elementary School, about several of our youngest children that needed transportation from their residence to the elementary school. And so we were happy to note that just over a couple of messages back and forth on social media, bikes were provided to several children in our city in order for them to safely get transportation back to Casselberry Elementary. This was just a feel-good story.
Yeah, it was. I loved it. And I think it says a lot to the trust that we have as a community. Drew, I know that you and I were both on that thread, but I felt a little bit kind of left out because by the time I got the thread, the problem had been already solved. And that just speaks so well to how quickly our community responds to a real need. But principal reached out. There are a number of children in her school who couldn't get safely to school because they didn't have transportation. They didn't have a bike. So she said, hey, can you help? And I think as the thread continued and the day got longer, she found more students to give bikes to because our community had provided so many bikes.
That's right.
Which is just amazing. Just amazing.
It is a great testament to our community. And in fact, a quick funny aside, personally, I was on that thread and I did not realize that my wife, Becky, was also on that thread. Saw only later when she texted me that she had agreed to donate a bike. And so I was like, oh, that was you. I didn't even know that was us, but we were definitely happy to contribute. So thank you, Casselberry. Keep up the good work and looking after one another. Well, another fun, quick Casselberry in the News segment was that we had our annual Battle of the Bands 5K. Now, this is an annual event that happens in Casselberry. Not only is there a 5K race kind of beginning and ending at Lake Concord Park, but also a couple of local bands get out and play live music for the runners. Andy, I know you've participated in this in the past. I have participated in the several years in the past. It's been a while.
You drove it, didn't you, Drew?
Yeah,
you drove
that's right. I might need a golf cart now to get me there, but yeah, it's a great community event, and folks from around the greater Orlando area come and run this race. Did you hear any news about
3.2 miles around our Casselberry streets? It's really got a great reputation because of all the shade that's on the way, and the bands make it a lot of fun. I believe they had somewhere around 2,000 runners, which was great. I know a few people who ran. I didn't this year, but I hope to next year. But I heard it was great, and it really puts our city on the map regionally as well, because it's, of course, run by Track Shack, who do so many races around town. So kudos to Lynn and his team for that, and congratulations to all the runners. Now, Drew, talking about 5Ks, you and I were recently invited to participate in a 5K for a good cause. So there's a couple of exciting dynamics in play. The PTSA rewards healthy teachers, right? So teachers who kind of collect a lot of health-based ideas get rewarded at the end of the school year. So we're trying to engage the kind of school community in these healthy initiatives so we can kind of push our hours up. So that's one good thing about it. The other thing is that the race is to raise money for the Mud Walk, which has really been a staple in Seminole County elementary school students' education for, probably as long as we've been alive. And obviously we want to keep that going and support that as best we can. So I did notice that you were a little slow to take up the challenge to do the 5K with me, but I'll sign you up and we'll get in shape and all for the cause, right?
Do it. Absolutely. For the kids and for the Mud Walk. It'll be a blast. And now that I know you don't have to run through the mud, that makes me even more incentivized to run.
Oh, that was going to be the fun part for me. Robin, are you in? You want to make this a What's Up Casselberry podcast team 5K?
Yeah, I was just going to tell you that.
Oh,
Fantastic.
Really good.
Well, and I was going to ask both of you, since we were talking about the band 5K, the Battle of the Bands, if you had one song played on repeat to run to, what is the song that absolutely gets you pumping, that you would want to have on your soundtrack? Anything come to mind for either of you?
Ooh, what do you think, Robin? What you got?
There's lots of good ones. This one might seem unusual, but I love the 1978 Superman the movie theme by John Williams. That's like my go-to, like dun, 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 pump up song. So it's not very runnable, but
nice. I will give you mine, Andy, if you need another second.
Oh, I need about 50 million seconds because I got no idea what my answer is.
So I'm really on an oldies kick right now, like a disco, an old rock kind of kick. And Casey and the Sunshine Band, I'm your boogeyman. Well, I don't know the rest of it, but it's called I'm Your Boogeyman. And it just has such a great beat that I just want to jam out. And maybe I'll actually learn the lyrics and listen to it enough.
Well, all I can say, Drew, after that answer is that I'm really, really, really glad that we have a psychologist on the show today. I think she'll have have an interesting time with that choice of music and lyric.
She needs to get in my head. Yep. Do you have one?
No.
There's Mr. Blue Sky by Electric Light Orchestra is another good. It's kind of older.
Excellent. There you go, listeners. A few
Andy,
songs.
you could just listen to our music.
I will.
Listeners, we'd love to hear from you. What is your favorite running song? What gets you pumped?
And now from the Society of Historic Casselberry, this is History of Casselberry with Dr. Deborah Bauer.
Hi, this is Dr. Deborah Bauer with your Casselberry History in 90 seconds. In the early 1880s, John Wesley Griffin came to Central Florida with his father, Dr. Abel Griffin, and his sister, Henrietta E. Griffin. He was a part of the prestigious lumber and real estate firm MacArthur and Griffin from Eastman, Georgia in Dodge County, located approximately 135 miles west of Savannah. Griffin purchased 6,000 acres of land outside of Orlando near Kissimmee and was responsible for building the first saw and grist mill in the area. In early January 1882, on a trip to Orlando, Griffin got into an argument with Silas B. Carter. Griffin was trying to negotiate a deal to purchase Carter's homestead. An argument broke out between the two men, and Carter shot Griffin dead. Griffin's father, Abel, posted a $1,000 reward, almost $20,000 by today's value, for Carter's capture. Griffin's wife, Sarah Ann Elizabeth Wooten Griffin, later known as Annie E. Griffin, inherited her husband's estate on behalf of her three children, Charles, Jeanette, and John. Based at their family's home in Central Florida, she tired of having business out of the state in Central Florida. She began to sell parcels of land in the area to divest her family's holdings in Orlando. In 1889, this included a large parcel of land in what is today Casselberry. Annie Griffin platted a subdivision around what is today Lake Griffin and Lake Lotus on present-day Concord Drive, known as the A.E. Griffin subdivision. This subdivision was the first platted settlement in what would later become the city of Casselberry. Griffin's 1889 plat map of the area is still used in some of Casselberry's property descriptions to this day. Again, this has been Dr. Deborah Bauer with your Casselberry History in 90 seconds.
This is the point in the show where we would let one of our podcast partners promote their business. But right now, we don't have a partner. This is a great opportunity for you to get your business, nonprofit, church, social group known among our Casselberry community. We are not doing this to make money, but there is a small fee that helps us pay our bills. If you'd like to be a sponsor, a partner on the What's Up Casselberry podcast, email us at contact@whatsupcasselberry.com. I'm looking forward to this next part of the conversation as well, as we talk about your book, Nervous Energy. I spent a lot of time as a child, teenager, young man living with lots of nerves, but it wasn't until I found out how to harness those nerves that my life took a very positive direction. Tell us a little bit about your book, Nervous Energy, Harnessing the Power of Your Anxiety.
I'm super happy to say it was recently endorsed by Deepak
That's a big
Chopra.
deal. That's a big deal.
Thank you. So Casselberry Libraries, if you're listening, I would love to come in and give a talk at any, libraries or booksellers. I'm so happy that there's actually a waiting list for the book at the New York Public Library, and it's available on audiobook or in hardcover or, any other digital formats. And the point of the book for me is that there's actually a healthy function to anxiety. A lot of people, they would come to me saying, Dr. Clay, how do I get rid of my anxiety? And I would want them to know that we don't want to get rid of it, right? That's kind of an extremist view, almost like an anorexic who wants to get rid of all their body fat. They don't realize that there's actually a healthy function to some body fat. We don't want it to go overboard. We want to make sure we use it for its healthy purpose. And the same thing is true with anxiety. The healthy function of anxiety is to stimulate preparation behaviors. So a person without any anxiety wouldn't look both ways before they cross the street, for example, right? And so the book goes through some of the kind of foundations of the psychology and philosophical underpinnings of this. I was a yoga teacher before as a psychologist. I look at it through the lens of mindfulness as well as psychology. And I then go through 9 and just, break them down. And make them accessible to people.
That's awesome. So obviously, in your career, you've talked to lots of different folks from various walks of life. Being in New York for many years, a lot of at least from my view, from being from Florida, like a very driven, motivated group of people by and large who are very goal oriented, as you said you are as well. I thought this was interesting. Just on the description page, as I'm kind of slowly working my way through your book. By the way, thank you for my copy. I'm gonna maybe see if I can get Deepak to sign it as well as you.
I'd rather have Chloe's.
I'd rather have Chloe's as well. That's right. But on the page it says, if you've ever felt a sense of excess energy that you didn't quite know how to direct, or felt that your creativity and motivation was being drained by constant analysis paralysis, nervous energy is for you. And that's certainly something that I felt, just kind of this rush of adrenaline. But yeah, how do you kind of channel and focus that? I often suffer, anybody that knows our podcast, Chloe, from andialysis paralysis, brought on by my co-host.
What does that even mean? Is that a clinical term, Chloe? Have you ever heard that in school?
Yeah, they say that's the worst. They say you got to be really careful. I don't even know how to treat that one. So.
I might be going to the loony bin if I spend much more time with this guy. No, but in all seriousness, could you speak to that innate fear when we have this maybe a goal, whether it's relationally, career-wise, wanting to do something to make a difference in the world, but we kind of live in fear via analysis paralysis, refusing to take that step forward?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that when we do just get the analysis is actually coming from a good place, right? So when we do sense that there's, maybe something on the horizon that we want to accomplish, but we're not sure if we have the skills to do it, or we have the sense that we need to augment, our coping skills in some way, then we can certainly start thinking about it, which is helpful. But if we get stuck in just focusing and thinking about like how it's, scary or hard, then that's when we do get paralyzed. And that's why the point of nervous energy, harness the power of your anxiety, is to help people to take that spike in adrenaline, which does, accompany anxiety. And then instead of allowing that adrenaline to like lock up our system, kind of jam the neural pathways, we instead want to just figure out how to point that energy in the right direction. And sometimes, depending on the nature of the stressor, sometimes that's going to be learning how to just take a deep breath and learn how to focus on other things. Sometimes, however, that's the worst thing you could do. Sometimes certain stressors actually require you to lean in and focus on them with a laser sharp focus and have like a to-do list of everything you can do about that goal whenever you start feeling nervous about it. That's why the first technique in the book is actually a mindfulness technique, so that you can study and observe your stressor and then figure out which one of the other 8 techniques would be the best. Like, do you need a technique to help you learn how to calm down and let it go? Or do you need a technique to learn how to zero in and get things done?
That's fascinating. It's interesting. As I look back on my life and I said, I was often been an anxious person, someone who speaks a lot and is before crowds a lot. That was when that anxiety kind of kicked in. But now it seems like I kind of channel that anxiety as like rocket fuel to take off in the direction that I need to go in terms of presentation. That first step to the platform is a tough one too. Chloe, I know we're running out of time and we'll have to have you back because this is so fascinating. In closing, just tell us a little bit about you as a psychologist. What brings you joy? What are you excited about in this season of life for yourself?
Well, one of the things that I've been really excited about, there's so much joy in devoting myself to that. I've spent a lot of time devoting myself to academia, and that's wonderful. But what's interesting is that the root of psychology is psyche in Greek, which actually traces to spirit. And so academia maybe has almost been a kind of a around the way path to that. And so I've personally just been delving a little bit more into Bible study groups and things like that, as well as, being a wife and mother and connecting to those things on a spiritual level, as well as teaching those things to other people. So at nervousenergybook.com, people can learn more about like master classes and ways to connect. And certainly all over social media, like I mentioned, I've definitely, embraced the ability to just connect with people that way. So I've just been going through some explorations here since coming to Florida, and it's been wonderful.
Awesome, Chloe. And it's been a real joy you ask very good questions, you and your husband both, and excited to see you grow both spiritually as well as help invest in other people as well. Thank you so much for your time today, Chloe. Of course, as she said, you can check out the book. Please purchase it, listener. Nervous Energy, Harnessing, what is it? The Power to Harness Your Anxiety.
Nervous Energy, Harness the Power of Your Anxiety. And please leave me positive reviews on Amazon. They really help me a lot in the algorithms.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And we look forward to speaking to you again sometime. Wow, Dr. Chloe Carmichael, thank you so much for your time, your insight, the way you care for people, and how you've used your wisdom to encourage others in their efforts to harness their nervous energy in order to move forward with their goals. We really appreciate you and your two-part conversation with us. Andy, you've got some big shoes to fill. You close us out this week with our inspirational quote.
Yeah, and Drew, I'm playing this off something that Dr. Chloe said. This quote comes from Dr. Martin Luther King, who said, "Out of the mountains of despair comes a stone of hope." Out of the mountains of despair comes a stone of hope. Sometimes worry, fear, anxiety can feel like a mountain that is holding us back, that is pulling us down, that is taking us towards despair. What Dr. Chloe reminded me of was that in all of life's difficult situations, in all of life's challenges and anxieties and worries, we can actually use those tough times to help become a building block for something good. A stone of hope is present in every mountain of despair. So listen today, if you're going through a tough time, know that you're loved, know that you're not alone in this difficult time, but know as well that in this mountain of despair, there is a stone, at least one, probably more, of hope to hang on to. Thank you, Dr. King, for those words.
And thank you, Andy. That was super comforting and encouraging. Listener, we sure hope you've enjoyed our time with you on this podcast and enjoyed this episode of the What's Up Casselberry podcast. This podcast has been produced by Robin Kepi. For more information, please check out our website, our Facebook page, Instagram, podcast feed, all with the name What's Up Casselberry. If you would, click the like button, subscribe so you get a new podcast in your feed every single week. Give us a 5-star rating and review. Until next time, have a great week.